Hello, this is episode 181 of Live Drawing. I am the alleged human hands that draw tonight. My name's Ian Chase Nichols. I'm a comic book artist and I've worked on The Tick, Ninja Turtles, Conan, all kinds of stuff. So, for those that don't know me, it's just a little reset. We've been working on Undersea Hero, which is the Kickstarter project that I've worked on for a couple of years now, and we've got the book done. Hey, Martha's, I'm doing well. How are you? I'm a little tired, so if my voice is low, let me know. These are the Ashcan editions, which I finished binding. This is the edition of only 12 copies that will go to backers that purchased it through the Kickstarter. I will never reprint these. There will never be more than them. I have one artist-proof copy, and that's it. Each one is bound with copper brads, hole punches, and then each one is numbered and signed on the back. So, this is a old school thing to do, as are some of the other things I'll show you tonight. Ash cans were all the rage many years ago, so we did an ash can edition. It sold really well. People seem to really like it, and it's not a false scarcity. Like, I'm never making these again. So there will only be 12 in the world, and people will have them. I don't know if you saw the picture, but I made a stand for the retailers. We're working on a retailer reward tonight. These are plastic book stands that I bought off of Amazon that I then added these printouts to. I mounted these to them, and then it matches what's in the book with these nice little flowery patterns. And then this has Ben Edlund's quote on it, and there's Krakus, and this gets mounted to the front, and then this is the backer. I posted a picture on social media if you want to see the finished ones. And then they also get these retailer posters, which are laminated, and it shows off the variant covers, Ben's quote, underseahero.com, on sale here. Again, an old school thing that indie comics used to do, which when I worked at a comic book store, it was important. It was important to give the store the stuff to sell your book. So I wanted to try to do something to make it easier for them, because they took a risk bringing this book into their store, because it's a small press book. Nobody's heard of it. People have heard of things I've worked on, but they haven't necessarily heard of me. So I want to try to make their jobs easier. I'll show off some of the finished box doodles. This is a Silver Surfer box doodle that I did because we've had a silver marker. I wanted to do some silver stuff, so we drew some space, added the Silver Surfer to it. That was a fun one that my wife liked. I don't know if I showed this one. This is just the Hulk. It's an easy one to. He's so big, it's easy to fill up the box with a big, giant, like Kirby-like hands, big square fingers. Here's a tick one. There's the now it doesn't want to. There we go. There's the tick. That one came out pretty well. Here's a Doctor Strange. I always like Doctor Strange, so that was a fun one. And then here's a Undersea Hero. So those are some of the box doodles we got done that you folks hadn't seen. And tonight we'll get to work on a drawing for Rubber Chicken Comics, because again, just another old school thing that I like to do. If you used to go into stores after creators did signings, they would do sketches for the stores and they'd be hanging on the wall. So Hey, Caleb. Good to see you. Tonight the store is called Rubber Chicken Comics, so we're gonna do a sketch for them. I was kind of struggling this weekend to come up with something fun to draw, but I came up with something today that I think will do well. And the whole idea is that like you're supposed to have this original drawing up in their store, and people go, "Oh, that's neat. Who did that? What book is it from?" And then it can also help them, sell the book that they invested in. Just looking for any way to help them out and be thankful for them being there from the jump. I will tell you that I've been approached by retailers after the fact that are also interested in carrying the book, which I'm grateful for. But the folks that backed it first get the big push. So. So the idea being, I thought of putting a cartoon chicken underwater. I think that's a little too extreme. I need to back it off a little bit. A little too much. Thanks, Caleb. Yeah, we're working on it. It just takes me time. I wish that boxing, shipping, and packing stuff I was able to do faster, but it's just I'm not Amazon. I don't have everything set up, and we're trying to make everything custom and neat. So, and I've had a couple of people ask like how much it would cost for someone to buy the displays. They're pretty expensive. I actually invested in being in these stores. Like I would say that, I won't say that I lost money, but I definitely didn't make any money on these setups and that's okay. I made my money with some direct sales, so I wanted the stores to be armed, and I hope that they sell out. And then basically my math is that, if they reorder, then we're both good. My cat is meowing outside the door, so I'm sorry if you hear Bruce out there. when I was working on the Tick, actually this was on the Tick, but for Planet Comics, which was a licensor of the Tick. Um, with Wagon Wheel, I had to figure out how to put an air pack on someone who didn't have arms. So I decided to go with like these little side shoulder slings, and it seemed to work pretty well as a visual gag. Hey Ethan, good to see you, man. Martha says I started drawing 61-minute gesture drawings. That's a good idea. I mean, gestures, you want to do them quick so that they have the movement and the motion. I think they do, especially the folks up at Rubber Chicken. So it's they are massive supporters in this region of creators and indie comics. They're legit. They put their money where their mouth is, and they're also a publisher. They published a book called Rubber Chicken Comics Presents. I'm hoping to have something in it the next time they come back around. Is there a reason why you switch hands? Are you ambidextrous? Like I don't fully grasp the exercise, I guess. I mean, are you trying to switch to your left hand full time? Is that the end goal? It's been a long day, believe me. It's gonna be a tough week. I got a lot of commercial design-y type stuff work I got to do. I saw that. I haven't really had a chance to dive into it. I did notice you had a bunch of characters. The only note off the bat is just to make sure, like triple check to make sure they're all both not just public domain, but nobody has a trademark on them because trademark and copyright are two different things. And if a character is public domain and somebody has a trademark, that's the problem with the Black Cat, is that Marvel does have a trademark on the name Black Cat. So like we couldn't put the name on the cover, just like when you use Daredevil or whatever, you just can't put the name on the cover. And there's some other stuff we can and can't do. So Lord Crackus roughed in. Oh, okay. Yeah. If it works for you, go for it. I remember Bernie Wrightson talking about when Frank Frazetta was trying to draw with his non-dominant hand, and Bernie basically just said, like, I'd find something else to do. That was in the extended Fire and Ice interview that Bernie Wrightson did when he was sitting next to Kaluta. And I think Bisley was there too. That's true. But I tend to think fundamentals being what they are, it's, if we're talking about brother. Hey, Pat. Hey, thanks, man. It's good to hear. Hope all is well. One of the things I've been thinking about quite a bit lately, as far as drawing goes, is you were talking about deprogramming, is not thinking too strongly about whether or not something is symmetrical, leaning in more to asymmetry and finding structural and layout interest and visual interest that way. But yeah, I've been thinking a lot about symmetry and that kind of stuff. And abandoning symmetry as best I can while still maintaining structural continuity. I guess that's the right word. The legal stuff, it's just because I've done some public domain work, and I've been involved when a character has had to be modified just as it's going or just after it's gone to press. Like I've been there, done that, so I at least know what to look for in certain things. I am not a legal expert at all, um, and I don't pretend to be. I don't propose myself to be. Whatever the correct thing is that I give no legal advice as far as that. I will. I just honestly have not had any time to pursue it. It's the kind of thing where I think when I'm basically done with fulfillment, I will solicit media folks. Although I will be honest, I've been thoroughly disappointed with some of my media friends who have been posting this AI garbage. Um, they are proponents, or at least self-proponent of they fancy themselves as supporters of creators, and I got to say that if you use AI to generate your graphics, I have to question whether or not you are, and I don't care if it's cheaper, faster, and all these things. Hey, Mike. In this instance, I had kind of an idea in my head, and I just kind of started chucking it out. This is not what I would necessarily call like I would never do this on a cover. I only rarely do it on interior pages, but in this case, this is like an expanded, just um, like convention sketch or whatever, where I just kind of use my instincts and my ability to kind of, you use your in your mind. You can pick out your rule of thirds. I'll just draw it out real quick so you can see it. This is just a real quick rough where like there's proportional issues, there's all kinds of stuff that I want to refine, and that's why I do it in the blue. And then I, grab just my HB lead, and that's where I'll come in and I'll do some revising, but mostly I just kind of go from the gut. I am picturing where my light source will be. I am picturing where my horizon line is, which is right about here. That's where my horizon line would be. So if I'm drawing some ocean background, it would be something like this. So real simple. This is not a like I said, not a cover or anything. It's just a nice drawing to put on a wall and maybe pique someone's curiosity and have them ask a question. Now I'm going to finish it like, as clean as I can, but as far as the composition, there will be some issues. I'll try to avoid tangents as best I can. Well, it's very kind of you to speak to people. I really appreciate that. Yeah, I've just been swamped, and like my regular like corporate work has been getting busier lately, so it's been tough. It's been tough to make time for things. That's why I have taken so long, like, to get everything shipped. I'm just about after this weekend, I'll be halfway through. So, that's just a basic status update on like the shipping. I had somebody message me just being like, "Hey, where's my stuff? I thought you said you emailed all this, or you mailed all the stuff." I was like, "No, I posted a thing that said I was like 40 some percent through." Um, and then I found that they hadn't filled out their survey yet. So like even if I wanted to send them their stuff, but we were able to sort it out. I got their address immediately right there, and I added theirs to the next pile to go out. So I do try to get back to people as quick as I can when it's Kickstarter or whatever questions. I do have some conventions I will be going to in March, April, and June. And August. I have one in August I have signed up for. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that I'm going because that's how they announce guests. So, Ethan, it does feel like a big deal. Thank you. Yeah, it's when it's a one man show. My wife helps me by getting some to the uh, post office. She walks past it during the day, so she drops those off for me, which is very helpful. But as far as getting all the packaging done, and I try really hard to make sure it's safe, secure. I double check all the orders, because some people want their stuff signed, other people don't want it signed. So, like, I don't want to sign all the books and then come across an order that's like, I want mine unsigned. So, I have to pull each item, check the order, see how they want their stuff, see if there's any special delivery instructions, and then put it together, write the note, have the doodle box hopefully done, and then I go forward with packing it up. Well, if I sign it also with those paint pens, you got to let it dry, so then it sits there for a little while. The only thing where there's no option of whether it's signed or not, there's two. That's the Ashcan edition and the Atlantic Pacific print. Those are both signed and numbered closed editions, where they're all signed and numbered. Trying to remember not to think of everything having to be what you call it. Symmetrical. Asymmetry is a good thing. Oh, thanks, man. And on this page, definitely, people have watched me, have seen me have rough nights where the eraser just takes over the night, and I'm having to start over. And then there have been ones where we've drawn most of it throughout a stream, and then the next day I've had to throw it out. So I look at it, I see everything that's wrong with it. When I'm on these streams and I'm drawing and talking at the same time, I can miss obvious stuff that I shouldn't miss, which happens. And it's usually best if I don't ink it the same night as I pencil it, because I can at least go in and fix it if there's something easy to fix. There we go. Rough leg needs to come out this way more. Need a little water. There was a cartoon strip called Crackers when I was a kid. It was written by James Patrick, who's written a ton of different stuff. He's written for Batman Confidential. He's written for, all sorts of people. And I think he's also done TV, done a number of things. And like every bird I've ever drawn that's a cartoon since then has kind of looked like a DJ Kaufman bird. We can clean it up a little bit as we go because it'll make it easier to see things. And I like to add a border so it feels like a comic. Yeah, and only a few retailers backed the Kickstarter initially, but the other ones that have expressed interest, I've got to put together a special info pack that gives them all the options, just based on my printing costs and stuff. Trying to figure out ways to make it work with wholesale. It's tough. It's tough. I'm not sure where my circle templates went. I'm gosh, that's in the way. That'll work. Undersea bubble helmet. We don't need to explain how it stays there. It just does. It just does. Oh, no worries. We all got to go at our own pace. It is totally fine. Erase what's behind there. Anytime I draw chicken feet, though, I think of foghorn leghorn. Yeah, Jason, this is the one for rubber chicken. Great store, always supportive. I've done I think 2 variants for them over the years. We did an Iron Face one when they backed the original Iron Face campaign, and then we did a Hex Slash cover too. They recently did a Ninja Turtles one. If you're into Ninja Turtles and Godzilla, they did one for that crossover that they just did. You know, crossovers have become more popular again lately. Seems like they go through cycles with different publishers, all the crossover stuff. Just because I like drawing them, I'll draw a little crab here. Rubber Chicken, great store, man. New stuff, old stuff. I'm gonna go on Saturday, hopefully. Hey, good for you, Martha's. That's a great idea to do that. I don't know if I could commit to that level of doing that type of study. I try to get a handful of gestures, full figure gestures in a day, but 60, that's a lot. So good for you. I'm hoping when I go to Rubber Chicken this weekend that I can get some they get the really obscure sketch covers, like different characters that you don't see at other stores, and then just some great reading material. See what he's got on the indie rack. See what he's got on the in the dollar bins. Oh, I'm sure they always do. I should have put a link to their store in the description. That was my mistake. Should have done that. That was dumb of me to not do that. It's too much chin. There we go. Just a little fuzz. Someone on YouTube called the Tickle Monster. That is weird. Just roughing out where his other arm would be behind Krakus, so I know where to put his glove. Maybe? I don't know what that means. You know more than I do, Martha, believe me. Hey, have fun tonight, Ethan. Enjoy karaoke. Thanks for popping in. I don't have as much chatting, I guess. We did have a death of comic book royalty. I did not know that. Thank you for teaching me something new today, Marthas. Thanks, Ethan. Jason, I have no idea. I don't understand a lot of online culture. And I don't mean that in a like I take pride in being uninformed. I'm well aware of like trolls and counter trolls and people who spam things, but there is a certain human element that I don't understand, and I think that's what you're referring to, and I agree. I don't fully get it. I assume it's just has nothing better to do. I don't know. Or as Martha says, like there's an ancillary benefit to it where you can boost your own content or something by being perpetually online. Like there's a quantifiable asset to get out of it. I mean, I know that YouTube tells me, if I went live twice a week, you could get more of this, and this. And I was like, I do not have 4 hours a week to dedicate to this. what really brought this back, this whole thing, to be able to do it sustainably was just the restream where I only have to, update the basically, I just have to update the description and it does the rest. It saves all the settings, it saves everything for me, so. See, Ethan, have fun. Come on, I just put pencil lid in this. There we go. There used to be phone farming where people would sell their uh, view time and engagement offices with people. And it's like, oh, nice. Yeah, like I've mentioned, my brother's down in Florida. He's not in Tampa. He's down there. I've been looking for a show to do to help me pay part the way to go visit. It's really like, I don't need them to buy me stuff. It's just I need a show that does, pretty well where it can help me pay for the cost of going to see my brother in a different part of the state. Where like I would make the money selling my own stuff. I'm not looking for a convention to send me anywhere. Peddling my own wares. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8. There we go. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah, I know that some of the shows down there are very celebrity centric, so it's like actually I think what I'd like to do is put it in the live area instead of in the gutter. So we're gonna erase a chunk of this. We're gonna put a message box in here. Makes it so I have to ink list too. Hey Jay, I figured an undersea chicken with the classic bubble helmet would be appropriate. As I started to mention, a comics royalty passed away recently with the passing of Sal Buscema. Basically drew like, if you liked Bronze Age Marvel comics, he drew pretty much every single one. So there is a tangent that we do not want. It was very sad, yeah. I only got to meet Sal twice. He came to Pittsburgh one year, and then at New York, I believe, was the other place that I met him. And very affable, nice guy. I think of all the like just random fill-ins that he did over the years, and some of them were just really awesome books. Um, I actually liked when he became an inker too later in his career. I really liked his inks with Ron Friends. If you ever saw them as a team, I thought they were great. Yeah, I mean, he did Marvel Team Up, he did Captain America, Avengers, he did some Conan stuff. He did, he didn't do very much X-Men. If you're an X-Men person and you were just X-Men, you didn't see as much Sal Buscema. Spider-Man, he did Spectacular Spider-Man for a long time. Condor Man, the film. Are you referring to the film, sir? Who I think his best work is Spider-Man. Um, yeah, like Jay said, he touched like every Marvel comic book for 3 decades. His best work. I'm gonna have to think about that. 'Cause he did so much. I mean, he did Defenders. I mean, if you like Bronze Age Marvel, like you've read and liked some of his stuff, Squadron Supreme. Here's our little ocean mountain background. The narratives that Femme Fatale could have gotten worse. He could have been an inker. What would you say, Jay? Jay agrees. Yes. Yeah, his Spider-Man's probably his most known work. Yeah, that's probably true. And I know him primarily as a Marvel guy, and I know he did other stuff. But okay, so we have to square off a few things just to create separation. We don't want to have any sort of like, I'm going to do a mostly black background. Draw some little fishies in here. Oh, definitely, yeah. And when you gotta, and his Hulk, he did the Hulk for a long time. I think that was the first book that I saw him on. I do. I think the no, actually, he was in the first comic book I ever bought. He was in the Marvel Holiday Special #1 doing Thor. It was a story written by Walt Simonson, but I believe, and drawn by Sal Buscema. So yeah, he was actually in my first comic book. And I remember the Balder the Brave miniseries. Krakus, is that question mark? And he says, undersea chicken. So he says. And we'll add some air bubbles coming out. We'll darken. There'll be a black background so that it pops. And I'll letter that in so that it looks cartoony, shall we say. Oops, I forgot to add the classic Undersea Hero framing device, which is just the wavy water lines. If you look at the pages themselves, you see these on the corners, and part of the purpose was that I need a framing device because I wasn't using heavily shaded backgrounds. I was using very flat colors, so just adding a little break of white was very, very effective and useful. All right, it's 9 o'clock. I am tired. I think we finished penciling, so I think that's where we'll leave it tonight. But I'll show off those box doodles again. There's the Undersea Hero, Doctor Strange, the Tick, the Hulk, and then we did a Silver Surfer too. So there's some of the boxes. And thanks everybody for coming out tonight. I hope to see you next week, and I'll keep working away at this, and we'll post it when it's done. So thanks everybody, and I hope you all have a good night and a good weekend, and thank you everyone. I'll see you.